There's an element of the art of display which goes into a display home.
Working on something a little bit different and something that I personally wouldn't try and go after.
It's bold, it's striking, it's got so many elements in it.
Plunkett homes have wanted to display something new, and that's what creative people want to do, right? They want to show something different.
Hi, my name's Jason Shaw. I'm the principal designer at Plunkett Homes, and I'm responsible for designing display homes. The brief for this display was mid-century. Well, the mid-century style is part of our range of 4 elevation concepts and theming that we use as part of our marketing campaign, What's Your Style?
My name is Joel and I'm the sales manager for Plunkett Homes. Mid-century style is not exactly my cup of tea. I'm more of a Hamptons or a traditionalist, a coastal-inspired type of guy. But I was very excited to see what our team could do with the brief that I gave them.
This is our second mid-century design. The first mid-century design was the Malibu in Dunsborough. That was more a coastal-themed mid-century. The Atomic Age art movement was really the inspiration behind this mid-century design. If you think about some of the things you'd see in like the cartoon show The Jetsons and stuff like that, an old sort of late mid-50s kind of automobiles. A lot of the design ideas from mid-century might not be consistent with what the current standard is as far as sort of living spaces go in a modern home. So the house is dressed mid-century, but as far as the floor plan of the house goes, it is a modern family home. So the brief we gave to our interior designer for this display home was mid-century.
I'm Adriana from Hatch Interiors and I'm the interior designer of this display home. You're asking an interior designer why we get involved early on. I think it's something that we're so passionate about. We want to see every single stage of the project. My first step always in the design process is picking the main floor tiles of the home. We're here at Tiles Expo today. We're going to be looking at the colour selections for Plunkett's latest display home opening up in Lakelands. Given the brief of mid-century modern, I've created a little bit of an inspiration guide to help me while I'm going through the showroom to work out the colour selections and the style that I want to adopt to the interior. I really like this floor tile. This is where I have begun my whole colour selection process for the home. I always start with the main flooring of the home because it helps me with the kitchen selections, and I feel like the kitchen then leads on for me and my ideas for the rest of the home. I've found this tile to include for the kitchen. I thought it was a really nice, bold, bright colour that would add a little bit of the geometric styling that would work well with the entirety of the home. This is the main floor tile that we've picked for the home in the 600 by 600 size. I've got a bench top that I'd like to use for the space, plus as well that beautiful green tile. My next step would be to look at the cabinetry. I've been considering a few different timbers, but the one that I've been leaning towards the most is a colour by Laminex called Natural Teak. The warmth of the timber really reflects the styling of the mid-century, that really retro furniture that you can see now being replicated. Actually, what I'm thinking could be a good choice for the space is including this particular product here. It's exactly the same colour, but it comes in a finish called Nuance, which gives a beautiful veneer type finish to the laminate. My main hesitations with this is it just comes down to price and whether the builder will approve that. I'm meeting with Plunkett next week to introduce the colour schemes that I've come up with today. I'm probably a little bit nervous about how they'll perceive this. Mid-century is a new style that's coming back in. I'm just hoping that I've sort of addressed the brief. What I find really exciting about this style is that we've got some adventurous items in it that I know will look really good. When doing some research, I really felt that the strong elements for this, which you had addressed, were the one-course bricks.
Yeah.
In doing so, I think that we could paint them rather than just having a red brick that could address an industrial styling.
Sure.
I think having a painted white brick is a cost-effective option, plus as well brings in that style from the 60s.
Yeah, do you think you can maybe stagger it?
Yeah, I think just for that, maybe that wall in particular, we can kind of have some play with the depths, kind of depths of the brickwork, maybe project some, or if there's any other kind of feature brick option, as far as like one that has the pre-made kind of recesses in it, possibly.
Yeah, that'd look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Could we bring that through to the inside of the house in any possible way? I like that the outside concept can flow through to the inside, and I think when we start looking at the inside of the house, you'll sort of see that addressed with the exterior colours. But is there a location that you think we could incorporate some?
I reckon if we wrapped it down this main passage here, probably not the same feature as far as kind of like projecting bricks and stuff, but if we just did a straight common painted, maybe down that feature wall, and then possibly carrying it on out into the alfresco in some way, it could kind of tie that element in. Well, the design meeting is really important at that stage because it gives us a chance to sit down with Adriana and review all the selections for the display home and then adjust anything accordingly.
At the moment, I'm leaning towards a marble look bench top, unique Calcutta to the island bench.
Is that the matte one?
That is the matte finish.
Yeah.
So pending budget, would love the marble bench top just to the island bench. I think the rest of the kitchen, we can pare it back to just a really standard bench top. When I create the interior design of particularly in display homes, I'll always probably try and push the boundaries a little bit about what I think should be included in here. The kitchen bench top was probably one really good example of that. It was beautiful Calcutta stone bench top. You definitely want to be able to represent finishes in the homes that are affordable and that anyone can achieve. But I also think this bench top was such a strong key element of the design that I put forward the opportunity to have this here, and it was able to come through. So yeah, I am quite happy that it made it. The next room I think that we'll jump to is the powder room. In the powder room, I've still opted for a terrazzo type tile, but because I want to incorporate the black tapware into these spaces, I've opted for a terrazzo that brings in some of those black elements as well. This will be in our standard allowance, which is a 300 by 600 rectified tile. I want to flow this through the floor and the walls. So it will run up the sides of the room up to 1200 high. I'm then hoping, pending your approval, that we can do the full height feature tile from 1200 up to the ceiling. I think this is a really important point to the design style as well, is incorporating these colours, but the decision is yours.
I love that.
I was introduced to the brief being a mid-century design, and I definitely felt probably a little bit uncomfortable about it. It's probably not my forte, but I also know that I'm adaptable, and research is a really wonderful thing to be able to capture a modern approach to this classic style.
My only concern would be wondering if everyone would love it as much as I do. You know, because I really love mid-century design, and all that's the stuff that goes with it, and I would hope that I'd love to see other people enjoy it as much as I do.